Hello everyone. After some turbulent news in the UFO world recently, today we are returning to our review of classical cases from the past. This time we are going to talk about a case often referred to as the Canadian Roswell, the famous Shag Harbour incident. The location just mentioned, which sometimes raises an eyebrow because of its name, lies in the province of Nova Scotia on its southern shores. It is a small fishing community and the number of residents is in lower 400s. The event just mentioned occurred on the 4th of October 1967. The prelude to the actual event involved Air Canada Flight 305 heading to Toronto. While flying over Sherbrooke in Quebec and at an altitude of 12,000 feet, the crew on board noticed a strange object in the air at 7:15 p.m. The captain reported an object flying on the path parallel to the plane. The description indicated a bright rectangular object with a trail of smaller lights behind it. 4 minutes later, the pilots observed a silent explosion near the large object, followed by another one 2 minutes later, which formed a blue cloud around the object. The activity over Nova Scotia continued. At around 9 p.m., Captain Leo Mercy and the 20 crew of the MV Nickerson vessel saw 4 brilliant red lights forming a rectangular formation hovering just above the water surface. From time to time, one of those lights flared up to the point of leaving an after-image in the crew's eyes. The vessel was also able to track the objects on a radar and reported it to the local Royal Mounted Police station. Somewhat later, between 11 and 11:30 p.m., a fishing vessel afloat northwest of Briar Island saw a brilliant white light the size of the moon. 3 brilliant white lights emerged from the white object and formed a triangular formation around it, and then moved across the sky and back to the white globe at high speed. This observation was confirmed by other vessels present in the area. 5 miles south of Weymouth, a police and game wardens saw an orange color light just above the tree line, traveling at low speed and emanating sparks. Meanwhile, around the same time and just west of Shag Harbour, Laurie Wickens and 4 other teenagers driving down Highway 3 observed a low flying object, with 4 flashing lights forming a straight line. The object was seemingly descending at an approximate angle of 45 degrees. Multiple witnesses present in the area then heard a whistling sound, not unlike that of a dropped bomb, followed by an extremely loud bang. The teenagers earlier driving down the highway were now observing the event and mentioned that the object has hit the water surface in the harbor, approximately 900 feet or 300 meters away from the shoreline. It drifted on the water surface, emanating a whitish-yellow light. The teenagers contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Unit in Barrington Passage and reported a large airplane or a small airliner crashing into the water of Shag Harbour. With such a serious report, the police sent 10 officers who arrived at the scene at most 15 minutes later. The police, anticipating a demanding rescue operation, contacted the Rescue Coordination Center in Halifax asking for support, as they too confirmed the observation of a luminous object on the water surface in the harbor. They also asked about any reported missing aircraft. But before they could mount any actual rescue effort, the object started sinking and then disappeared from view. The combined rescue and police forces now assembled quickly and proceeded with the actual rescue mission. Within the next 15 minutes, they were also joined by the fishermen and their boats present in the area. The fishermen scoured the area as far as the Gulf of Maine looking for survivors. But neither them nor the Canadian Coast Guard search, also assembled that night, managed to find any bodies, survivors, or even debris from the crash. Overnight, the rescue services determined that no aircraft of any kind went missing earlier that night. The Rescue Coordination Center staff notified the Royal Canadian Air Force headquarters in Ottawa about the incident, as this was the unit handling all UFO reports at the time. This was the actual recommended course of action, as by this point any conventional objects such as airplanes or flares could easily be dismissed. From there, an urgent telex message was also sent to the Royal Canadian Navy headquarters indicating a possible UFO report and asking for an underwater search. The Navy organized the Fleet Diving Unit Atlantic, who were about to carry out the actual search for the missing object. The diver unit was assembled on October the 6th, so approximately 36 hours after the crash. Over the course of the next 3 days, they scoured the sea floor diligently. The report ultimately indicated that the effort did not result in any recoveries of any kind being made. Some 20 years later, a UFO researcher, Chris Stiles, managed to find reports claiming that another crash happened the same night, on the 4th of October. There were witnesses to military exercises of the American Navy taking place in Shag Harbour, located some 30 miles to the northeast of Shag Harbour. The research about the event carried out in 1990s led to a hypothesis that there were either two objects which crashed independently that night, which is the obvious conclusion here, but another hypothesis states that the object at Shag Harbour indeed crashed and gradually sank, and then traveled the distance between the two harbours underwater, and eventually emerged at Shelburne only to crash and submerge again. What do you make of the Shag Harbour incident, dear viewers? Let me know in the comment section down below. In this case, we have enough witnesses and reports to call it a mass sighting. It also resulted in a massive rescue operation undertaken by the authorities, including Air Force and Navy involvement. To me, it is definitely one of the most convincing cases dating back to 1960s. It also resulted in the Shag Harbour UFO Museum located in the fishing community where the incident took place. That is all for today, but we are still on the lookout for more upcoming UFO related news and events from the past. Thank you for watching today, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you soon in another video. Take care.